Well, y'all, we're back. It is still cold. I didn't even put nothing in this beard or mustache today because you know why? It's cold. Could break them. And it's snowing, and there's snow on the road, and they already called off live church for tomorrow. So, guess what we're doing? Online church. Gonna get to go and worship with fellow believers online as church services happen, even though we ain't in the building, so that people can be safe and warm. That's a good thing, right? Well, the people of Jericho thought they were safe and warm, but they knew in their hearts they weren't. That's why they were all melting, because they knew that it was gonna be what it was gonna be, right? So, we were on they'd marched around for 6 days. We were getting ready to say what was going to happen the seventh day, and here we are. On the seventh day, they got up at daybreak and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner. Yep, they did it 7 times in the same manner, except that on that day they circled the city 7 times. Each of the other days they did it once and then went back to the camp. The 7th time around, when the priest sounded the trumpet blast, Joshua commanded the army, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city. The city and all that is in it are to be devoted to the Lord. Only Rahab the prostitute and all who are with her in her house shall be spared, because she hid the spies we sent." She's safe. She's safe. What do you know? There we go. But when the trumpet sounded and the army shouted at the sound of the trumpet, when the men gave the loud shout, the wall collapsed. Oddly enough, there is archaeological evidence that shows that, and it just made a perfect way for them to walk right in, just like the Lord said. How God. That's all you got to know. You can try to figure out the science. You can say it might have been an earthquake. Yeah, a perfectly timed earthquake. Whatever. Still God. We don't need to know how. We know God. And he told us right here it was going to happen, and then he showed us it did, right? So there they were. They gave it, and that wall came crumbling down. Yep. Yep, the wall collapsed, so everyone charged straight in, and they took the city. They devoted the city to the Lord and destroyed with the sword every living thing in it. Men, women, young, old, cattle, sheep, and donkeys. That won't do, donkey. You're going too. Joshua said to the 2 men who had spied out the land, "Go into the prostitute's house and bring her out and all who belong to her, in accordance with your oath to her." So the young men who had done the spying went in and brought out Rahab, her father, her mother, her brothers and sisters, and all who belonged to her. They brought out her entire family, put them in a place outside the camp of Israel. Then they burned the whole city and everything in it. But they put the silver and gold and the articles of bronze and iron into the treasury of the Lord's house. But Joshua spared Rahab the prostitute. They keep saying that. Look, if I was Rahab the prostitute, I'd be like, okay, you got the point. Just can you call me Rahab now? Just the Rahab. Do I have to be Rahab the prostitute for eternity? I mean, I did believe in God. Can I not get a little forgiveness? No Jesus yet. She needed to find Jesus. Yep. So there they were, though. And, of course, they spared Rahab the prostitute with her family and all that belonged to her, because she hid the men Joshua had sent to spy on Jericho. And she lives among the Israelites to this day. Now, this is an older version, right? So when it's saying this, that beeping noise, that beeping noise, it's something called a smoke detector. Amber is up those doors, and she is cooking some pasta. I don't know why it's making noise, but I know she said we're okay. I trust Amber. So if she tells me we're okay, we're okay. We just have a beep to go with it. At that time, Joshua pronounced this solemn oath: "Cursed before the Lord is the one who undertakes to rebuild this city, Jericho." Yeah, cursed bad, like first son dead to build a gate, last son dead to build the wall, something like that. I don't know exactly, but dead, a lot of dead. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame spread throughout the land. God had told Joshua and the Israelites that the spoil of the war was his alone, and everyone obeyed except for one man. Yep, one man. Achan. As a result of his sin, God was not with the Israelite army when they attacked all. Joshua and the other leaders were humiliated and confused when God revealed that the defeat was because of Achan. Because Achan had sinned, the people repented, and Achan was killed for his actions. You can't be doing that. He said, take it and don't keep none of it. He said, there's some things, the gold, the silver, we got some bronze, and we got some iron right there you can come and bring into the Lord's house. He said, but you ain't keeping none of that to yourself. He said, I know you thought that little doll was cute, or you thought that little Hot Wheels over there was cute. Sonny D, you can't take it if God says don't take it. Even if it's not a bad thing to have, if God says no, you got to know that ain't going to happen, right? They had to leave it be. The Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Take the whole army with you and go up and attack. For I have delivered into your hands the king of them, his people, his city, and his land. It's not a big word. It's just they put two things together that in my head shouldn't go together. And even if I hear somebody else say, I'm like, I don't know about all that now. Yeah, man, I don't know about all that now. You shall do to this guy, the AI. It says AI. That's, I think, what throws me off is it says AI. And I'm so used to hearing AI that when I see AI, it seems bad. It seems bad. And its king as you did to Jericho and its king, except that you may carry off the plunder and livestock for yourselves. Set an ambush behind the city. Oh, this time they're going to get to keep some, right? Yeah, well, AI better watch out because Joshua's on your tail. Watch out, Mr. AI. You thought you could make a fake video. Not today. Joshua's coming. Early the next morning, Joshua mustered up his army, and he and the leaders of Israel marched before them to Ai. We're going to call it AI from here on out. The entire force that was with him marched up and approached the city and arrived in front of it. They set up camp north of Ai, and with the valley between them and the city, Joshua had taken about 5,000 men and set them in ambush between Bethel and Ai. Y'all, that's some sad news about Bethel in the news. Just understand, just because someone's in a position doesn't mean that they are beyond corruption, you know. Just like in here, you had some people that didn't do what they was called to do. And guess what? People suffer for it. Okay, so they set up this ambush between Bethel and Ai to the west of the city. So I get distracted sometimes. That's Bethel and Ai together. Uh-oh. Anyway, yeah, that's what happened. With the main camp to the north of the city and the ambush to the west of it, That night Joshua went into the valley. When the king of Ai saw this, he and all the men of the city hurried out early in the morning to meet Israel in battle at the certain place overlooking the Arabah, but he did not know that an ambush had been set against him behind the city. Joshua and all Israel let themselves be driven back before them, and they fled toward the wilderness. All the men of Ai were called to pursue them, and they pursued Joshua and were lured away from the city. Not a man remained in Ai or Bethel who did not go after Israel. They left the city open and went in pursuit of Israel. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "Hold out towards Ai the javelin that is in your hand, for into your hands I will deliver the city." So Joshua held out toward the city the javelin, and that was in his hand. As soon as he did this, the men in the ambush rose quickly from their position and rushed forward. They entered the city and captured it and quickly set it on fire. The men of Ai looked back and saw the smoke of the city rising up into the sky, but they had no chance to escape in any direction. The Israelites who had been fleeing towards the wilderness had turned back against their pursuers. For when Joshua and all Israel saw that the ambush had taken the city and that smoke was going up from it, they turned around and attacked the men of Ai. Those in the ambush also came out of the city against them, so that they were caught in the middle, with Israelites on both sides. Israel cut them down, leaving them neither survivors nor fugitives. 12,000 men and women fell that day, all the people of Ai. Then Joshua built on Mount Ebal the altar to the Lord, the God of Israel, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded the Israelites. Afterwards, Joshua read all the words of the law, the blessings and the curses, just as it is written in the book of the law. There was not a word of all that Moses had commanded that Joshua did not read to the whole assembly of Israel, including the women and the children, and the foreigners who lived among them. God helped the Israelites to be victorious over the army of Ai, yet Joshua made a mistake in not turning to God to guide him when some deceptive people from Gibeon arrived. They pretended to be from a far-off land, and they sought a treaty with the Israelites. Joshua made the treaty without consulting the wisdom of the Lord. Then he found out that the deception was really from Gibeon, a neighboring tribe. He was constrained by his treaty, so he could not conquer the people and take their land. Word got out about Joshua's peace treaty, and other kings took up arms. Now Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, heard that Joshua had taken Ai and totally destroyed it, doing to Ai and its king as he had done to Jericho and its king. And the people of Gibeon had made a treaty of peace with Israel and had become their allies. He and his people were very much alarmed at this, because Gibeon was an important city. Like one of the royal cities, it was larger than Ai, and all its men were good fighters. So Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, appealed to Hoham, king of Hebron, Piram, king of Jarmuth, Japhi, that's a big word, Japhi, we're going to go with Japhi, king of Lachish, and Debir, king of Eglon. "Come up and help me attack Gibeon," he said, because it has made peace with Joshua and the Israelites. Then the 5 kings of the Amorites, the kings of the Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon joined forces, and they moved up with all their troops and took up positions against Gibeon and attacked it. The Gibeonites then sent out word to Joshua in the camp of Gilgal, "Do not abandon your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us. Help us, because all the Amorite kings from the hill country have joined forces against us." So Joshua marched up from Gilgal with his entire army, including all the best fighting men. And the Lord said to Joshua, "Be not afraid of them. I have given them into your hand. Not one of them will be able to withstand you." After all night march from Gilgal, Joshua took them by surprise. The Lord threw them into confusion before Israel, so Joshua and the Israelites defeated them completely at Gibeon. Israel pursued them along the road going to Beth Horon and cut them down all the way to Azekah and Makkedah. Yep. As they fled before Israel on the road down from Beth Horon to Azekah, and the Lord hurled large hailstones down on them, and more of them died from the hail than were killed by the swords of the Israelites. How about that? Top of page 97. We're going to cut it off there. I'm already at 1648. I guarantee I'm going to do my best to make sure that from this point on, y'all, I add too much in there. And you know what? I struggle with words. I ain't going to lie. Big words, any little words, I struggle with words. I've always struggled with words. It's been something I can see a word, I know the word. Like if someone says this is it, I'm like, oh, I know how that's how you say it. But I'll look at it when it's spelled and I'm like, I got no clue. And I try to pronounce it and it sounds really funny and it don't sound like nothing I know. And then it's like, oh, that's that? Why do they spell it like that, those silly people? That's just not the way I'd have spelled it. But anyway, I got to get going so that y'all can get going. And I'm going overtime again, but I love y'all. Sunny D, I love you, buddy boy. Hey, I hope y'all are blessed. Stay safe if it's snowing where you are. And you know what? If it ain't snowing right now, if you're watching this and it's 6 months later and it's the middle of summer, just think, somewhere, sometime, someone was cold. You're hot now, but it's cold where I am. Okay. So I love y'all. Have a blessed day and bye.